Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and though I look a little folly with my color scheme and outfit, I'm here to talk to you about my spring-summer knitting goals and plans. Speaking of which, I'm wearing the vest number 2 spring edition, even though it doesn't look very springy, I would say, um, over just a long sleeve. This piece is a DK weight, and it's by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's a great light piece for like transitional spring, early spring, or fall when a long sleeve shirt doesn't quite cut it around the house. It's nice to just throw on and be a little cozier with a little bit of a layer. It's knit in a unraveled sweater yarn that was predominantly a wool, a little bit of man-made fiber. It's just kind of a tweedy brown, and I really enjoy it. It's good for uh, days like today where here it's cloudy and not super warm. I think it's supposed to get close to 60, but we're not quite yet there yet. Yesterday it was almost 75, but the ups and downs of spring in New England. But I hope you're cozied up and ready to chat with me with your beverage. This is my first cup of coffee of the morning. I will probably forget about it, so hopefully it's still warm when I'm done. Um, but I wanted to start with my goals and kind of my intentions for my summer knitting this year. I haven't done a lot of summer knitting in the past. I wasn't as comfortable with finer gauge yarns, and I was just more focused on sweaters. That was what I was excited about and what I was still kind of building up my wardrobe in. So this is kind of my first summer of really getting into it. I'm very excited about it. And I wanted to set kind of general goals first because knitting plans inevitably change. New patterns come out. That's what you're excited about. You pick up yarn at the store and then you want to cast something on specifically for that. So I just kind of wanted to give myself guidelines for what I want to knit this summer so that when it comes to that, I know I'm making a good decision and it still fits with what I was originally hoping to do this summer. So the first thing is to kind of generally expand the number of summer knits that I have. This is like an overall goal. I want to be able to wear a summer, like a hand knit piece once or twice a week. Similar to in the wintertime, I try and wear my knits pretty frequently. And that's like what I want the balance in my wardrobe to be. I don't feel like I have to wear something every single day, but I want it to be a more predominant feature in my wardrobe. So that's kind of the goal. The second overall goal is to pick things that are wearable for me and not just go with what's cute and what's pretty and what I like the color of online because it doesn't always work out. You don't look like that person. You don't have the same style as that person. So what works for them isn't going to work for me. But also, I'm looking for pieces that are a little more opaque as far as like see-through and coverage and lace because I've knit like lace yoke t-shirts before and then the lace comes all the way down here and now I have to wear a tank top under my shirt and it's summertime so I don't want to wear a tank top under my shirt so I just don't end up wearing it. So things that are wearable as far as coverage and comfort, I don't want to be wearing layers in the summertime. I want to just be able to throw on that t-shirt and that's what I'm wearing. Yeah, I just don't want to get too hot. And then the last thing is to focus on basics. I want to focus on relatively simple things, some interest, but nothing crazy. I'm a throw on a t-shirt in the summertime kind of girl. I'm sort of trying to keep with that theme with knits with some fun things in between as we all need in life, but good colors, comfortable design, things that I really think I can see myself wearing. So as far as plans, I have my firm plans and then I have my maybe plans. Patterns that I actually may have started, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'll have podcasts coming out next week with all of that, or things that I really definitely know I'm going to start and things that I'm considering, but I'm not 100% sold on. So we'll start with my firm plans. The first one is the Colette T by Sari Nordland, and that is a DK weight pattern for 3.5 millimeter needles. It's got this really beautiful all over cable design. I think it's a little more feasible than like some all over cable things look like you'd be cabling every single row, but these are kind of extended cables, so I think it's more feasible for me. Well, it has some rows of eyelets. It's really overall a pretty not see-through design, so I think it will be more wearable. DK weight, so it's lighter, shouldn't be too hot in the summer. The sample is pretty boxy, so I think it'll be a good balance for me. That's kind of one of my more fun pieces. I also have a paint box cotton DK yarn in slate green that I know will be perfect for that. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about. The next one is the Shell Tee by Wool and Beyond. It's an Aran weight pattern in with 5 5mm needles. I almost said 5.5, that doesn't make sense. 5mm needles. This one, because it's kind of got like a flowy lower, even though it's a heavier weight yarn, it should still be airy enough for the summertime, but it also isn't so boxy that it'll take forever to knit. I've knit some boxy like t-shirt patterns, and the yoke is just so long and huge because it's boxy and flowy that it's a really pretty end result, but it just gets exhausting to go around and around and around. So this piece has a tighter fit top, so I think it won't be so such an extensive knit, plus it is heavier weight, and it's got that like airy, and I love the neckline. The neckline is beautiful. So I consider that to be pretty basic. And I had ordered Drops Paris, which is an Aran weight cotton in cornflower blue. So that's my plan for that. So that's a firm plan. The next one is Camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. That's a fingering weight pattern, and it's with 3mm needles. This one I think is a beautiful basic staple, and it's fingering weight, but because it's knit with negative ease, it's really, I'd say, like not a huge knit. Also, it's a tank top, so no sleeves, no anything. I think this will be relatively fast for a small weight yarn and really great for the summertime because it's lighter and it's literally a basic tank top. You can't go wrong. I ordered Drops Saffron, which is another cotton yarn in cobalt blue for this one. And I have another Drops Saffron quantity, the same amount in a more terracotta color, which I might make another one with, but I'm not really sure. So that's a firm plan, and I'm really excited about that one. The next one I'm going to definitely knit is the Alice Top by Petite Knit. That's a bulky weight yarn in 5mm needles. I have a yarn that I thrifted, which is half cotton, half wool. It's Cotton Top by like Brown Lamb, I think, or Lamb's Pride. It's an older yarn. I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. And I have a few other yarn. That's an Aran weight, and I have a few other yarns I can hold with it that I thought that would be a good piece to use that for. It's obviously a really simple pattern, and I could probably wing it and make it myself, but I don't want to do the math. That's it. I just don't feel like it. So I'll buy the pattern from Petite Knit, and she can do it for me, and easy peasy. The next firm plan is I want to knit a Cumulus T O-neck or V-neck, which is also by Petite Knit, light fingering and 3mm needles. I have the V-neck pattern. I could shuffle around and probably wing the O-neck with that pattern, or I could get the O-neck pattern. I haven't decided yet. But I really love silk knits. I've thrifted silk knits, and I love a good knit silk piece in the summertime. And I have yet to try knitting for Olive. It's like not a dream, but it's something I'd really like to try. And I'm most interested in the pure silk right now. Plus, it's a more feasible quantity as far as price. It's more like $30–$35 to buy it, which is more reasonable for me than a couple hundred on mohair and merino for a sweater. So I felt like a good entry level place, and I think that's a good pattern. It's written for it. It's a basic t-shirt. Everyone loves it. So that's the goal for that. That's something I've been wanting to do the last couple years. I just haven't gotten to it. So yeah, those are all my firm plans. And now on to possibly, maybe, probably things that I'm interested, that kind of thing. The first one is the Robina Tee by Anna Wenzel, and that's a fingering weight pattern with 3mm needles. I really like this pattern, but my two things are, one, I kind of want to knit the sweater version of it. So I'm not sure if I want to knit the t-shirt. And two, it is quite boxy for a fingering weight yarn. So I don't know if I want to spend fingering weight time on a boxy tee. Like something like Cami number 9 is small and it shouldn't take me too long no matter what, pretty much. But that could take me a really long time. So that's a possible, it's a maybe. I love the sample with the black and white. I think it's so beautiful, the contrast. The next one is Spring Fling by the Petite Knitter, and that's a sport weight yarn on 3.5mm needles. I love this design. I think the flowers are so beautiful in the colorwork yoke. I'm obsessed, just obsessed. And I have a yarn that's unraveled from a sweater that I think would work well for possibly the main color. It's like a pale kind of robin's egg blue, but I have to find a sport weight yarn for the contrasting color, and I'm not sure what color would look best yet. So that's kind of a maybe. I might end up using the yarn for something different, but that is a pattern I'm really interested in. I just have not figured out the yarn quite yet. The next one is the Vine Tee by Seedling Stitch Design, and that's a DK weight pattern on 4mm needles. This was one of the tees in my roundup of patterns of not so basic tees, and I'm kind of obsessed with this. It's boxy, but not super boxy, and it has the split hem detail with the lace down the sides, and I really, really, really like it. I don't have a specific yarn ready for this, but I am placing an order to finish another piece soon, and I may add something to the order so that I can knit this. I'm just not sure yet. I kind of have to figure out my plans before I fully place that order. So I'm not committing, but I do really, really like that pattern. The next one is the Poet Tee, also by Sari Nordland, DK weight, 4mm needles. I really like this piece, and it's a raglan, so it would be a pretty easy knit. But my one concern is that it's a little lacy in the front. Not super lacy, but like a little bit. I'm not totally sure yet if it's something that I would be like super comfortable wearing without a tank top underneath. So I'm probably gonna wait until there's more on Ravelry. There's more projects on the project page, so I can look at other people's pictures and decide if it's something that's a good fit for me. That's usually how I try and figure it out. If the yarn I want to use for something also is like more common, I'll look it up in the projects and see if someone has used that too and how that turned out for them, just to kind of gauge if it's really the pattern for me. So that's why that's a maybe. The next one is the Umbria Summer Top by Cookie the Knitter, and that's a fingering weight yarn with 3.5mm needles. I love this design. I absolutely adore it. I love a good button down. It's so beautiful. The pictures of the sample are so beautiful. My one thing is, it's really lightweight, but that's not like the big thing. It's that it's really lightweight, and because it's a button down, it would be knit flat the whole time. And I'm not sure if that's what I want to do for summertime. I don't mind like a cardigan where you have to knit flat and whatever, but it's usually a heavier weight yarn, so I'm like not quite sold yet. I mean, if I have the right yarn and it works out, maybe I'll do it. I'm just not sure. I don't want to spend a million years on it, so that's my why I'm not sold on that one yet. The next one is the Sakura by Knitting for Breakfast. It's a sport weight, and it's on 3.5mm needles. This one's got some beautiful lace. I'm not sure if I knit this one, if I do the texture stitch in the body, and I'm not sure if I have a good yarn for it, like just already in my stash. So that's kind of why it's a maybe. It's one of the like, if something comes into my stash and it fits, it checks the box, I'd probably knit this. I just haven't quite gotten there yet. So this is a beautiful pattern. And the last two are both petite knit, just kind of like, if I have the yarn, maybe I'll do it. And the first one is the Cloud Top. That's a DK weight on 4mm needles. I like this one because it's a tank top with the wide straps. It's not too loose, not too tight. I feel like it would be really a good piece for my wardrobe, pretty wearable for me. I wouldn't have to worry about anything underneath. Yeah, so that's one of them. And then the last one is kind of like a two-parter. It's the June Top or the June Top Light, which is the June Top is a DK weight. The June Top Light is a light fingering on 4mm and 2.5mm needles. So those are, again, a good fit for my wardrobe as far as tank tops that I think would be wearable. But it would be about the yarn that came into my stash and what quantity I had. I might do the June Top Light if I order knitting for Olive Pure Silk for a Cumulus tee. I might also order some for the June Top Light. That's why it's like an either or maybe. I just have to decide. So those are all my clothing patterns that I am considering or am knitting for this summer. And then the one like accessory home item that I really want to knit, but I just haven't quite figured out yet, is the Stella Quilt Cushion by Laura Penrose. And that's a DK or Aran weight pattern, I believe. So it's on 4 or 5mm needles. I have two pillow inserts that I've been waiting to make some kind of cover for. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I really like this pattern, but I'm not sure if I want to do like Scrappy from Stash or if I want to order yarn specifically for it. So I'm still figuring it out, but that's like a general plan, I guess. I'll probably knit that and do it with the envelope closure so I could switch it out and put something else on it if I want. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So those are kind of my plans for this summer. Next week I'll have a podcast coming where I talk about some of the things I've already started and the yarns that I have in my stash, and I'll show them to you so that you can get an idea sort of what I'm thinking. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate the support. Thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed to this channel recently, and it really means the world to me. I've been having a great time doing this, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.